Welcome to Reno's World Podcast, where truth slips through the cracks and myth whispers in the dark. I'm Reno Rains. Tonight's topic, government vaults alien bodies. We play an old movie in the background because, well, this is a podcast and we like to keep things interesting. Buckle up. Let's dive in. Sound of a flickering light, cold, unyielding. The hum is constant. Something's just off. We have things in our possession, not made by human hands. Dr. Eric Davis, astrophysicist, defense contractor, 2020 Pentagon briefing. Do you feel that? That's the cold, the void in your chest. The instant realization that we're not alone and we haven't been for decades. It's buried, locked up, hidden. The U.S. government, they have vaults. Vaults filled with things, not human. Things they never built. Things that have no place on Earth. But this story, it doesn't begin with 2020 or 1947. No. It begins in the dark. July 8th, 1947, Roswell Army Airfield. A press release reads, "The many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday. Hours later, they pull it. New headline, weather balloon. Wait, stop. Did you catch that? They retracted it. 1 second, it's an alien craft. The next, a piece of weather junk? You're being lied to. You've been lied to for decades. Where's the disc? Where did it go? It's in the vaults. That's where it went. Anchor event. Operation Pounce. They don't want you to know about Operation Pounce. It's classified. Top secret. This wasn't just about flying discs. No, this was about retrieving, recovering alien tech. Declassified FOIA memo. The recovery of unidentified flying objects of unknown origin is of vital importance to the United States. Catch that? They weren't guessing. They were planning for it. Budgeting for it, waiting for it. Where did they stash the artifacts? Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Tonopah Test Range, and of course, Area 51, where you're not allowed to look. Timeline whiplash. There are at least 9 different craft being stored and analyzed. Bob Lazar, interview with George Knapp, KLAS TV, 1989. Lazar, he was branded a lunatic. They told you he was crazy, but now we know he wasn't. The Tic Tac UFO, it defied everything you think you know about physics, dropping from 80,000 feet to sea level in seconds, and they've been hiding it. Fracture thread, Wilson Davis notes. Here it is, the leak that should have torn the world apart. A 2002 meeting between Admiral Thomas Wilson, former Director of Intelligence, Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Dr. Eric Davis. We have crash retrievals, not made by human hands. They are deeply, deeply buried programs. Wilson demanded access blocked, shut out. The man at the top couldn't get through. Who's hiding the truth? The contractors, private corporations, not beholden to 23 Dave Dwight testimony. This isn't fiction. This is Congress, on the record. Former intelligence officer David Grush. We have intact craft. We have partial craft. We have non-human biologics. Wait, what? Non-human biologics. That's real? They're not hiding just UFOs. They're hiding bodies. And who's hiding them? A sophisticated disinformation campaign. What's that? A campaign to bury the truth, to make sure you never see what's in the vaults. Fractured piece, Aurora, Texas, 1897. Aurora, Texas, 1897. A flying ship crashes. A body is recovered. Small, frail, not from Earth. Local newspapers, they reported it, then buried it. But here's the twist. Before Roswell, before 1947, before any of it, the crash in Aurora was real, but they buried it. The vaults go back that far. Project Blue Book, 1952 to 1969. Thousands of sightings, but only 701 remain unidentified. Records show investigators recorded credible reports of structured craft and entities. Then the government closed the files, shut it down, and buried it deeper. Captain Edward Ruppel, former head of Project Blue Book. There is a group of sightings that are incredible. Incredible. That's how they labeled it. But they've been labeling the truth incredible since 1947. The hum of the vault door echoes louder now. The flickering light stutters as if something behind it is pushing, pounding to get out. Cut to black. What happens next? What they really know What's buried behind layers of red tape and black ink? The truth is worse than you can imagine. The hum is louder now. The tension's suffocating. Something's coming. The door creaks. Something's almost about to break. You can feel it. What happened next? What did they find? You want to know. You've seen the files, the leaks, the testimonies, and yet the walls are still standing. But this is where it all falls apart. Wilson Davis leak, the breakdown. Remember those Wilson Davis notes? You should. Dr. Eric Davis, astrophysicist and contractor for the U.S. government, delivered the cold, hard truth to Admiral Thomas Wilson. The retrievals are ongoing. The objects are not of this earth, and they are deeply hidden. Wilson's frustration? Palpable. He demanded access, to no avail. His request for information was blocked by people higher up, behind the scenes, people who didn't even work for the government anymore. Private contractors, corporations, contractors who own the truth. Who has the power? Who controls this? The documents Wilson sought, they sit in a vault, locked tight, untouchable. This isn't paranoia. This is fact. And it's been fact since the 1980s. David Grush, 2020 testimony. You're the shaking in your hands? The 2023 leak hit the news like an earthquake. David Grush, former U.S. intelligence officer, spilled the truth to Congress. Intact craft, non-human biologics. That's the reality. Biologics, craft. This wasn't diplomatic language. This wasn't some soft disclosure. No. Grush said it bluntly, like someone sick and tired of the lie. We've been retrieving artifacts and bodies, real, physical, non-human. Hold on. You think this is an isolated incident? You think this is just one whistleblower? No, my friend, they cannot keep this quiet much longer. The men who can't speak. But why did they stay silent? Why hasn't any of this broke wide open? It's not just about secrecy. It's about control. You want a name? How about Dr. John Alexander, former head of the U.S. Army's Advanced Energy Programs? He helped design the black budget, the secret funds that support these unacknowledged programs. In his own words, the government doesn't control this anymore. Private entities do. And they're not talking. Want to know why they're not talking? Because they're not allowed to. Redacted files, the black money. You know what they really don't want you to see? The money. The black money that fuels this machine. Off the books. No accountability. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been funneled into these projects. Off the radar. Redacted. Buried in non-disclosure agreements that cross corporate and military lines. No one can speak. No one can leak until someone does. The viscosity of silence. You can feel it, can't you? But it gets darker, much darker. The sightings, the bodies, the wreckage, it's all tied together. You think this is just one isolated phenomenon? No, it's been going on for decades, since the 1940s. The Roswell crash, the first in a long line. The U.S. government knew, long before 1947, that they weren't alone. They've been keeping you in the dark deliberately. Project Blue Book, the real files. You think Project Blue Book was just a PR stunt to make the public forget? Think again. In the files they kept hidden, the 70 unresolved cases, the ones marked unidentified, many of those witnesses, credible. Highly trained military pilots, commercial pilots, astronomers. Remember that UFO sighting over the Pentagon in 1952? The one that made the national news? The one they couldn't explain? The object was performing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. U.S. Air Force pilot, 1952 report. It's not just the UFOs that are hiding in the vaults. The bodies are there too. Rendlesham Forest, 1980. Stay with me. This is where it spirals deeper. You think Roswell was the only incident? You think that was the beginning? What about Rendlesham Forest in 1980? 2 U.S. military personnel, Colonel Charles Halt and Sergeant Jim Peniston, witnessed a craft land in the forest. What they saw next? Impossible. But they still documented it. Peniston, in his own words, "It was like nothing I've ever seen before. It wasn't from this world." And what did they find after? Biological matter, evidence of something alive. You really think that's coincidence? The final lock, the vaults. But the final question is, who holds the keys? Who keeps the vaults locked? The truth is buried so deep, that even the men who try to expose it can't get through. It's not just the government, it's a collaboration. The military, the corporations, the shadow organizations. And here's the last twist. The government doesn't own it anymore. Analysis. What's confirmed? So what's real? What do we know? One, the UFO phenomenon is not a new discovery. It's been known for decades. 2, biological entities and crafts have been recovered. 3, cover-ups have been in place since at least 1947, with deep ties to military-industrial complexes. What's speculation? That's the hard part. Some pieces are just too hidden, locked away so tightly that even leaks barely scratch the surface. What remains unresolved? The ultimate question: what's inside those vaults? What truths are they trying to protect from you? Final line: whether it was misunderstanding, cover-up, or something far stranger, this case remains unresolved and very real.